Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing an 11 by 8.5 layout. I have a few sequin packs that I'm going to be sharing from Spiegelmom Scraps, even though this isn't a design team layout, but I'm always using sequins on my layout. I had this adorable photo of my great niece reading to her little brother, and I had this collection called My Story from Simple Stories. This came out last year, and the colors of it matched the photo perfectly, so I decided to go ahead and scrapbook this photo. I have quite a few of the papers that haven't even been cut into. I have a few scraps that were from a kit from Not Just for Boys that had a few of the papers in it and a few other papers. So I decided to bring some of those papers in and see if I can get this layout complete. I already backed the cut file. This was one I had cut, and I decided to go ahead and cut off the bottom part that said love to read. I just decided I didn't want that on after all, and I was just going to use the book part of the cut file. So I backed it in peach and teal, and then, or a mint and green, I guess. This color here is actually speckled egg, which matches this mint and green color perfectly. I was really surprised because the ink itself, when you look at it, looks blue, but when it's on the paper, it actually is more of a mint color and matches perfectly with this collection. So I traced around where the cut file of the book was going to go, and now I'm just using a little dauber and kind of sponging around the edges of the black and white grid paper that I'm going to use as the background. And then I'm going to use the floral paper for a border around the edge. I decided to wet the Distress Oxide. I probably should have just went ahead and used the Shimmers paint that I'm going to bring in here in a minute instead of using the Distress Oxide. But I always see everybody use Distress Oxide and it looks so cool. But my Distress Oxide never turns out that way. The Shimmers paint that I ended up using was It's Meant to Be, and it's a perfect color match for the speckled egg and for the mint color in this collection. So I'm going to do a little bit of splattering with it, and then I'm going to actually put it on the glass mat like I did before with one of the wedding layouts, and I'm going to rub the edge of the paper in it. And that was just to give it a little more color because the Distress Oxide, there wasn't enough color showing up, so I wanted more. I always want more color. I just love color, and I would rather have the layout look bright and happy than empty space. So I'm going to fill all the space that I can. So here I'm just sprinkling it around, drying it up with the paper towel, and in the close-ups you can see that it has a shimmery shine to it once it's complete. So I'm just going to keep doing that around the edge, all the way around. I'm kind of using the paintbrush to drag it around and make sure that it's all the way on the edge. And this really did warp the paper a lot since I didn't put it pretty much anywhere in the middle. I end up putting a little bit in the middle, like where the book meets in the center right there. But the paper really didn't take the water very well. And I didn't gesso it because I didn't think I was going to do water. So my bad. I should have used my clear gesso and gessoed it. But I think it'll flatten out in the layout and the album, and it'll be fine. I was able to get it attached to the paper, and it's still a little warpy right now, but we'll see what it looks like after I lay a book on it over for the night, and we'll see how it looks. But anyways, I'm going to use some tape from Spiegelmom Scraps. This is the thicker one. I believe this is 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to do it all the way around, and then I'm going to attach it to the flower paper, like I said. I loved the flowers, and I loved the colors of this collection. So I actually embraced the flowers for once. I don't always embrace the flowers just because I'm not really a flower person, but for some reason I like these flowers. So I think it's the color of the flowers more than the flowers themselves. So you can see I'm just taking off the edges, going all the way around, and then I forgot to ink the edge of the black and white paper. I was going to do that with Stays On ink and totally forgot. So I'm going to drag my pen, which is just a fine tip Sharpie, around the edge to add a black line, just a little bit more black around the edge. I really wish I would have did it with ink, but I didn't, so this is going to have to be good enough. And I believe I leave that all in, just for you guys to see. And there you go. So there's the background ready to go. As you can see, it's not too badly warped, just a little bit. I was trying to erase the pencil line because I could see it a little bit for some reason. I'm not going to pop up the cut file. I'm just going to attach it down with, I believe this one's like a 1/2 inch double-sided tape, and that's just because it's a little bit more thicker than the ATG and it'll hold a little bit tighter because it is going over the like distress oxide part, and I also wanted it to lay flat, so that's why I'm using this tape versus my ATG. And I just go around and put that on the book cut file, and then I'll peel that off and lay it down right there in where you see the little shadow place for it. So here we go, have it all peeled off and laying it flat and trying to get it in the right place. And part of it's going to be covered up by the photo anyways and by the little bookshelf that I'm going to put on the side. But I still wanted it, you know, the shadowing to go all around the cut file basically is what I did. So here I'm going to build my little bookshelf. I thought this was kind of cute because I love this book paper. And I'm going around the edge of the heart paper. I'm going to use that as the, like, I guess the outside part of the bookshelf. And then I'm going to put this paper on top of it. And I did ink around the edge of that with the Stays On ink. So it's black around the edge. And I also inked around the wood grain paper too. The wood grain paper is from American Crafts. I believe that was a Jen Hatfield collection. I only had a scrap left of it. But right here is where I'm going to place my title, and I'm going to use one of the foam puffy stickers from the title kit that I had. I have the whole thing still. I hadn't used any of those. I have quite a bit of this collection actually, and I'm hoping that I can get it used. It's very unique in different colors, so it's taking me a little bit longer to get it used. But I did put the Good Life on it and a couple of flowers. And then now I'm going to ink around the edge of my photo. And then I will map my photo on the black cardstock. And that was just to bring in a little bit more black. There's black in the background of the flowers that are around the edge. So I definitely wanted black to be on the layout. So I'm going to map the photo in black instead of white like I usually would do. And this was like a story on Instagram that my niece had posted of her kids. And I just screenshotted it and then printed it out so I could put it in their album. I'm going to add some play foam to the photo because I am going to pop up the photo. So then it'll be the same height as the Good Life title. And trying to use up more of my scraps of foam instead of cutting into new sheets. So it doesn't matter on the colors anyways. You can't see them once, you know, they're down on the layout. So here I'm going to place this flower cluster up here, and then I'm also going to place 3 other flowers around it. But I haven't gotten those out just yet. They're out actually on the table, but I haven't put them on yet. And I'm going to pop up the flowers since they're hanging off the photo. They need to have a little bit of play foam behind them. So that's what I was doing. And then the 3 flowers that I lay around the outside, actually I don't pop those ones up. I just tuck them in and glue them down. And this is going to take me just a minute to fiddle around and figure this out. I was trying to make sure I had a flower of each color or in different sizes also. So I didn't want to have, you know, too many big flowers or too many little flowers in the same area. And then I'm also going to do another cluster down at the bottom. and that one's going to have one large one and then a couple of medium ones and a small one, and then another medium one actually that are going to be flat on the book part. So again, I tried to pop up some of them and some of them keep lower on the layout. So here, just make sure I have the right colors in the right spot. And since I don't have the photo put down just yet, I'm moving it to make sure that I lay the flower down in the right area. And then here I'm going to lay the bookshelf down so that it's in place in case any of the flowers go over it, or just so that I know where they need to go. So put it down in the wrong spot, and that tape sticks really, really well, just so you know. It's a really good double-sided tape. And here I'm going to use ATG and liquid glue. I forgot to put my flower down at the bottom corner though, so I'm going to realize that before I actually put it down. So you can see I put it back in the place where I wanted it to go. I need to pop that flower up before I put it down. So I'll end up adding just a little bit more liquid glue around because this is Scotch tacky glue and it does dry pretty quick. So just in case, you know, it dried, I wanted to make sure I got a little bit more on it. But it's fine. And again, just using scraps of play foam to do that. So I'm adding some more liquid glue. And now I will place it down. I don't have these flowers in place yet up at the top. So I had to pull those off just to make sure I don't get it underneath in the wrong place. I'll put that orange one and then a brownish color one over here because it kind of matches the brown hearts around the bookcase. And then this little camera that I fussy cut from the other paper, I'm going to place on top of the flowers. And then from the sticker sheet, I'm going to pull a couple of little word labels and I'm going to lay those on top of the flower clusters. This one says documented, and then it says enjoy this moment. And then up at the top, I'm going to put a little peachy orange color sticker that says the little things. And then a green one that says so happy. And then I will bring in the sequins. And I actually used 2 packs of sequins. I was going to use road tripping. I decided not to in the end because I don't add any of the green sequins. I end up going mainly just with gold sequins, and I'm going to put them on the flowers. And I really like the way that that looks in the end. I'm going to go ahead and just speed these up. There we go. I poured out road tripping first, and you'll see that I start placing those ones down first. But then I'll pick them back up here in a minute after I put the gold ones down and decide that I actually put the sequins down on the centers of the flowers. And I really liked the way that that looked. So I decided that I didn't need the sequins that were spread around the flowers on the outside. So I'll end up taking those ones off, like I said, in just a moment. But I sped this up so you guys can see. Obviously, you can see how slow I am at doing this because this is sped up, but it's still going to take a few minutes before we get to the end. And I was looking for bigger ones and smaller ones that would actually fit over the flower. And there was more actually in the, what is that, bookish sequin mix that had a little bit bigger gold ones that fit over the centers of the other flowers that are bigger. And then I will slow it back down here in a minute when I show you guys a few close-ups as I hold it up to the camera. And that's pretty much the end of the layout. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I should have another layout for tomorrow. As always, if you'd like to pick up some sequins, you can pick those up at Spiegelmom Scraps and use my code Jennifer15 and save 15%. Here's a few close-ups, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!